Today, we will tell the story of a young man born into wealth, whose soul yearned for something deeper than the glitter of that prosperity. Disappointed and determined, he left his comfortable life behind to seek the invisible truth of knowledge. In the time of the Buddha, there was a young man from a wealthy family who grew disenchanted with the life of luxury and opulence that surrounded him. Eager to find meaning beyond the material wealth he had been born into, he left his home in search of spiritual enlightenment. This journey took him far from the comforts of his earthly life, and as the years passed, he grew into a man who knew the hardships of the world as well as he once knew luxury. Despite his best efforts, he found neither peace nor enlightenment. His clothes became ragged, and he often went hungry. The young man, now middle aged, felt no closer to understanding the truth of existence. He had traded silk for burlap and feasts for scraps, yet he still felt a profound emptiness within. One day, while wandering aimlessly, he heard about a great teacher named Buddha whose wisdom enlightened many. Curious and desperate, the man traveled to where the Buddha was giving a talk. Sitting among the crowd, the man listened as the Buddha spoke of suffering and its cessation, the impermanence of all things, and the path to true peace. Moved by the Buddha's words, the man decided to approach him after the discourse. When it was his turn, he bowed low and said, "Great teacher, I have spent many years trying to escape the life of indulgence only to find myself lost and without purpose. How can I find the path to enlightenment?" The Buddha looked at him with kind eyes and asked him to sit beside him. Then the Buddha told him a parable. Once there was a young son who left his father's house seeking his own fortune. He traveled far and wide, but fortune he did not find. Instead, he faced years of hardship. Ashamed of what he had become and convinced he could not return as a failure, he remained in poverty. One day, the son learned that his father had been searching for him all these years, longing for his return. Upon hearing this, the son realized that his pride and fear of failure had kept him from seeing that he could go back at any time. The father cared not for the fortune the son had failed to amass, but simply wanted his son back. The son returned to his father, who welcomed him with open arms, celebrating his return, not chastising his failure. The Buddha paused and said, like the son, "You have wandered far in search of what was always yours to claim. You sought enlightenment as something to be found in the world, but it has been within you all along. Return to yourself, acknowledge your innate wisdom, and let go of your perceived failures. The path to enlightenment lies not in renouncing the world, but in understanding it and finding your place within it." Tears filled a man's eyes as he understood the Buddha's words. He realized that his years of suffering had clouded a simple truth that peace comes from understanding and accepting oneself and one's place in the world. The man joined the Buddha Sangha, where he dedicated himself to the path of mindfulness and compassion. As the days turned into months and months into years, he found the peace he had been searching for. He learned to balance the material and the spiritual, and he taught others that the middle way was not about renunciation alone, but about understanding and harmony. This story resonates as a motivational tale from the Buddha's teachings, highlighting the journey of self-discovery and the importance of balance, self-acceptance, and understanding in the quest for enlightenment. It encourages us to reflect on our own paths and to recognize that while the journey may be long and challenging, peace and wisdom can often be found not in distant lands or different circumstances, but within ourselves.